And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Now, I've been gaming for quite a while. I've been gaming my whole life, but I've only gotten into designer games over the last decade or so, and so there's a lot of history that I have to go back and look at. One of the games that I heard about lots of times that people said, oh, you like this, and they talked about it fondly, was Wizwar. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at Wizwar. This is the redone version that Fantasy Flight has done. After many years, they've come out with a nicer version, but from what I heard, stays true to the original version. Is it as good as people say it is? Let's look. Here's the board that the players are going to play on. This is a 4-player board. You put a board on for each player, and there's actually 2 sides to the board, the classic side and the new side. And I'm really not sure how it really makes that huge of a difference, but the biggest thing that you're going to do is you need to put 2 treasure chests of a player's color on their board, and then the wizard themselves, and it doesn't really matter what model you use, as long as you stick that model onto your base and put that down there. And so there's 4 wizards. This is in a 4-player game, or you can play a 3-player or 2-player. There's also doors at the end here of each of the sides. You can see a little bit of them there at the end. And basically these are warp doors. If you move through one of them, then you will come through the other one. It's kind of like Pac-Man. So you can go through this door over here and come out over here. Go through this purple door over here, come out over here. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be trying to do one of 2 things over the course of this game. Kill the other wizards, or be the first person to get 2 points. To get 2 points, you simply take someone else's treasure, and these little stands have a way to carry it. So you capture the treasure, and then you run around with it till you get back to your home base and put it there. If you get 2 treasures in your home base, then you've won. Each person is going to have a life counter, a nice little spinner like this, and this basically just keeps track of your life. When you run out, you're dead. Players are going to be using a magic deck. They're going to start with these cards here. These are called the white cantrip cards. These go in every magic deck. Then after that, you're going to be picking 3 other decks from here. And each deck has a bit of a different, like for example, this is the Conjuring deck, and like this is my favorite deck, the Transformation deck. Each deck has kind of a theme. Like this one lets you change into different forms. And that's pretty cool because they'll have these other forms that you can change into. So now my wizard is a golem here, a stone golem, and he'll be moving around. So you pick 3 of these decks, and you'll mix those decks together, and then give each deck to the players, and then players take a turn. And the game's very simple. On your turn, you move 3 spaces, and then you can attack somebody by, being next to them and attacking them, basically by punching them in the face, or by playing an attack card. You can also play as many neutral spells as you want. Now each of the spells in the top corner shows you what kind of spell that is. Some are attack, like this red one here, Zot. Does magical damage equal to this spell's energy, or you can stun a target wizard or creature for 2 turns. So this would be an attack spell. Other than that, there's defensive and neutral spells, and some of these decks have more attack spells than others. There's a Kabong, there's a Mental Force, and you'll find that this game, even though it's all about the wizardry kingdom, it's more of a humorous take on it than anything else. There's your Fireball, there's 5 magical fire damage. And that one that you saw for energy, a lot of the spells, when you play them, you can play energy along with those spells. There are some cards which are just straight energy. Other cards can be discarded for energy instead of whatever it says on the card. It shows that on the bottom of the cards. Some cards are put in front of you, and you'll put a certain amount of energy points on them depending on how much you pay with the card, and then the card will last that long. At the beginning of each of your turns, you'll take one of those off. And so you have to be very cautious when you play a card, how much of the energy are you going to put onto it, and what are you going to use energy cards for as you attack the other players. This game is all about the magic deck. And in fact, there's a variant of the game, one that I highly approve of, in which you bring a set of black cantrip cards, which are the same as the white ones, and when you have people each pick 3 different schools, and you make 2 different decks, and 2 of the players draw from one deck and 2 of the players draw from another. In fact, if you're playing a 2-player game, that's certainly the best way to work. There's a whole pile of icons and things that can happen because what you'll be doing in this game is all kinds of crazy stuff. You'll be raising walls. There's doors already on the board that you can go through, but other players can't go through. But you'll raise walls. You'll transport around. You'll turn people into different things. You'll grow thorns and attack them. You'll have different weapons. You'll run up and punch them. And then the strategies that you have will be different. You have to decide, am I going to go for the points or am I going to just go for killing my opponents? Or maybe both at the same time. So even though the rule book is pretty big, I mean, it's 17 pages of rules here, most of it's just to be very specific on how to do things. There is one big chunk of the game really devoted to destroying walls and smashing your way through walls and doors, and there's even a whole pile of tokens that are included for that purpose. But for the most part, your goal is to punch the other person rather than yourself. But still, there's all these rules, but in essence, the game, the player's turn, is right here. It's just these things. Time passes, move and cast, discard and draw. And that's it. So you'll be drawing new cards. You can have a maximum hand of 7. And like I said, that's the game. Kill the opponent's wizards or get the 2 points. Alright, let's talk about Wizwar now. It's what we think of it. I'm going to let Melody go first because she played it and enjoyed it, I think. So what do you like about this game?
I really liked of how there was a special door for each wizard that only he or she could go through. It was a lot of fun. I was very close. No, actually, I won in the first game I played, and I was still a beginner, but it was still so much fun because I played it with other kids, and I got a lot of other experiences. So.
Now, my turn. Now, here's the deal. Wizwar carries with it a lot of nostalgia. And I think Wizwar, had it been released today for the very first time, people would say, oh, that's fun and unique, but I don't think there'd be a great love for the game. Because Wizwar is crazy random. Crazy random. And in a 2-player game, just in my opinion, does not work. 4 players where it's at. If you're going to play this, you're playing a 4-player. But you have to go in realizing that anything is going to happen. You're going to be turning people into stuff. It's going to be happening. I don't care what kind of best plans you have. You just go with the flow. Just go, 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 and see what happens. Stuff smashing everywhere. People changing. Spells being lobbed. Crazy, you get blown out. You're dead. People steal treasures. That being said, it's hard for me not to compare it to Dungeon Twister. No! I hear the shouts already. This isn't anything like Dungeon Twister. Because Dungeon Twister is about fantasy characters fighting in a dungeon where the tiles turn and... but it's different. And it is. Okay, it is different. Dungeon Twister is a straight-up strategic combat game where you go in and you fight and you're trying to get things across the board. Wizwar is different, but yet it gives me that same kind of feel, the genre-wise. And this one's almost too silly and fun. And I know I shouldn't say that, but okay. I'm just not a big fan of this. It's okay. It's fun. If you ask me to play and we play, I'm going to have a blast playing it with you. But I don't know. I think the reason this one gets so much love is because it started a lot of stuff, but didn't finish it. Have you left the review? All right. So let's talk about components. The components are great, right? Mm-hmm. I think so. The miniatures are fantastic. The artwork is good. But I think Melody and I are going to differ. I would play this with her because she enjoys it. But for me, it's just a little too crazy. And I know I like crazy, but I don't feel like I have a lot of control in this game. I just get the cards. Mm-hmm. So, not really a thumbs up for me. Although I do not mean to diminish. I think a lot of people are going to like this game, like Melody. Yeah. What's this?
Put your thumb up.
No, you can't force me to thumb up a game. No, I'm going to hold my thumb like this. Okay, so when I'm with Melody, thumbs up. But if I'm with someone else, I'm going to try to turn you towards maybe Dungeon Twister, or if you want chaos, Cosmic Encounter, which has a bit more in a controlled fashion.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.